One Love family, check it out. Jesse tree here with an old tree that I inoculated with oyster mushrooms and is now blooming because it's the right time of year. Nice and cool. So I'm gonna give it a little water, but I'm very excited to see this. Just wanted to share. God bless. Wholeness and Balance family, about to make some tacos al pastor vegan style with the oyster mushrooms we found yesterday. And this was like basically the stock of that massive 3-pound oyster mushroom we found that I just washed up and ripped up and shredded so that it's going to be like carnitas. And we're going to cook that in this big old cast iron skillet. I'm all about raw, but mushrooms are one thing that you should cook because their cell walls are so tough that it's made of something called chitin. And that chitin makes it very hard to digest and hard to get any benefit from. So at the very least, you should marinate them, but really, you should cook them. So then we're going to put this rub in here, and this is red chili and smoked paprika and garlic and onion powder and dried oregano and some fresh sage. I just went and harvested from the garden this fresh sage. And then we also put cinnamon, salt, and cumin in this dry rub, which we'll put on the mushrooms. And then I'm going to make a marinade out of some chilies we grew with some garlic, some more cumin, a tiny, like 2 little cloves, a little more red chili. This is locally grown red chili, a little tomato paste, a little chipotle. We're going to put a little bit of miso, adzuki bean miso in there, some olive oil, some pineapple that I chopped left from my juice that I made this morning, and a little bit of cider vinegar. I would use white wine vinegar, but I don't have any, and a little onion. I'm going to blend that up in the old Vitamix. And then after we cook the mushrooms with the dry rub and get the water out of it, and we'll add the sauce and we'll cook it some more in the grill. And I'm going to make a little guacamole, and that will be the tacos. We'll just put that in some corn tortillas and a little bit of spring onions. So we'll show you a bit of that in a minute. God bless. Alright, so I'm making the marinade here. We got in here some of those fresh chilies as well as some chipotle, and we showed you all the ingredients, but I neglected to mention the oregano. So the oregano you see in there is actually wild oregano that we gathered, some Monarda from this year, and we just find it to be way more flavorful. So now I'm gonna I also put, instead of tomato puree, it just called for 2 teaspoons, so I just put a couple of cherry tomatoes from the garden in there, and now we're gonna blitz it up. Also neglected to mention it calls for a 1/2 cup of olive oil or vegetable oil, so I use that, and as well as that vinegar, so you can get it moist enough and so it marinates well.